Hi, welcome everyone. Hope that you're enjoying this event. My name is Mohamed Beyan. I've been working as a product manager at Bisnode for 3.5 years, mainly responsible for our API platform. A quick, brief introduction about Bisnode. We're a company located in 19 countries. We have about 2,100 employees, revenue about 3.5 billion Swedish crowns. We have 130,000 customers. We are B2B companies. We sell data to companies within different areas. What we do is we have data within different sources, individual data, business data, vehicle data, and real estate. We package that, we make it usable for our customers. We unify it through our Bisnode IDs, and we package sort of solutions within risk and credits, marketing, and business information. All right. So I have 20 minutes to give you a fair descriptions about our huge API project. And to make it fair, I will just start with my key takeaways, so at least I have that done. If there's one thing that you should take with you from this session, is this. This will be central in my presentation today. And the reason I say that is basically usability and usefulness, which is decided by people, are actually it is crucial for your APIs to be successful. So if you have an organization where you have noses pointing towards your bosses and your back towards the customers, you will fail. So it's rather about shifting your mindset and understanding your customers. And it's not a question about asking the customers what they want or need. It's rather about understanding their behaviors and the jobs to be done in order to create good solutions. And understand how you should build solutions and how. This is my agenda today. I'll give you a quick overview of these 4 key elements in our API platform project, which are like laying down the foundations for all our APIs across countries throughout the groups. And they are strategy, usability, architecture, and management, platform, and security. I will focus my presentation more on these key success factors that we had at Bisnode. They are people, process, and technology. So starting with these 4 key elements we have, we work on Bisnode strategy, where we should start. So data is important, it's not your starting point. In today's digital journey, everything is actually generating data. There's a lot of companies out there, small companies popping up all the way across the whole our industry to try to challenge us within different areas. But data is okay, it's important, but it's not your starting point. Where to start is actually about evaluating your existing business model. If you already started with your API program, this is where you restart and evaluate your existing business model. Your development to date, the topic not yet addressed, the long-term journey, and the operational model. And then ask some important questions. Ask your customers, your potential customers, the API experts out there. People are quite friendly when you want to ask how they view the future of APIs. What's their needs within APIs? Try to have structural interviews to understand what their actually jobs to be done are. And then set your strategic objectives outlining the API journey and the operational model of the API strategy. All right. The second element here is the design and usability. It's really about considering your target audience, evaluate how APIs solve the customer's jobs to be done, think developer experience, etc. But don't forget about the usefulness of your APIs as well. All respect to usability, but if the APIs or your products doesn't solve anything that anyone wants, nobody will care about that API. Third element about architecture, enabling APIs to grow and shrink with the need of your business. Last but not least, the API management and security. You want to see and control your APIs in order to understand how you should operate, both from business and operational perspective. And also making sure that you give the right data to the right people and so on about security. Done. Okay. The success factors then in our API platform. Everything is centralized across one data platform at Bisnode. This is a key initiative at Bisnode, been for a couple of while now. So historically we have had data in silos. We've had backend systems built on legacy applications. We have geographical data across all our countries, and data that are created through acquisitions, etc. So the one data platform is allowing us to orchestrate, federate the data, and make massive data into consumable data for our internal customers, the product managers and dev people, to build APIs on top. So it's a project to unify everything with the same structure and common ontology, etc. So the key components about that are the people, process, and technology, as I mentioned before. Starting with people, looking from inside out, who we are. At Bisnodes, this is the Bisnodes product development manifesto. First of all, we work customer-centric. We have a customer-centric API development, which are used across all countries at Bisnode. We are curious, deliberate learners. We have a common structure in aligning the way of work in order to understand the customer's jobs to be done. A structural and a reliable research way, actually. We have an iterative way of working in order to understand the problem-solution fit in our product discoveries and product processes, and also to reach the product-market fit. Our product managers are empowered as the CEOs of the product. They are responsible of the P&L, marketing stuff, development, making sure that sales understand the APIs, making sure that they follow sales to understand customers' jobs to be done in order to do their development. This is how we organize us. The people across the API initiative at Bisnode, it's across all organizations is that we have small, agile, cross-functional teams which are customer connected. So we build a reference group within representing sales, marketing, UX people, developers, across the whole customer journey, basically, when we try to discover the product, but also when we're done and deliver packaging, the marketing stuff, and sales training and so on. Okay. Why people is important in our strategy is that basically it's people that will use it. They will use our services, APIs. And if you look into the value chain here, is actually, this is the main goal is to make this end user happy. Their experience on the application. But everything starts actually on the other side, where the API owner exposes APIs that are easy to use, easy to understand and try. You have a portal to reach the software developers who will build the API for you, or the applications on top of the API. So what it means actually, if you want to grow, this is everything, the interaction between you and the software developers, that's the point where all the usability and the experience actually occur. All touch points across the developers and your support team and the sales team, and also the architects that are helping them with the implementations and so on. So it's basically people building programming interfaces for people to build applications for people to use them. And you cannot design for usability if you don't know who are the ones that you're designing for. And don't forget about, as I said before, usefulness, the value, the assets that these APIs are actually exposing. Nobody will care if they don't solve anything, solve the jobs or the problems they are looking for, no matter how user-friendly they are. And if you want to grow your API revenue, you want more people to use them. All right. For a company as Bisnode working B2B, we have customers as companies as customers. They want to buy data from us within different areas, risk and credits, marketing, and information. And what we have considered, we have two kind of persona categories in our buying process. There are the technical people, developers that would actually see your API documentation, evaluate that API technically, influence the decision making in the process, but also the business people that will evaluate. When we say persona, is actually understanding their everyday life, understand their personality, the jobs to be done, what's actually their challenges within their everyday work. And to give you two examples about the needs and characteristics about these two personas is, you need to understand that the developers are, for instance, they want to know the in and outs of your APIs. Is this API reliable? Is the implementation of this API reliable? Can we trust that? Can we try it? Don't underestimating the ability to give these guys self-service platforms that we can try with sandbox and so on. And their characteristics are critical to sustainability, as I said, and they have shortness of time. The business people, they are looking for understanding how this API will apply to their strategy and help them reach their goal and make them more productive, for instance. For example, the CRM manager, which is one of these business decision makers, they want to automate the marketing processes. An API that does the job for them to clean their CRM data and keep it continuously updated. That's what she's looking for to automate stuff. But it's enough about people. What we do in next, what I will describe in the next component is the process, building great product faster and cost efficient. That's what everything actually about. To understand the customers in order to make great products. You want to do it cheap. You want to make sure that that product actually solves problems and the customers are ready to pay for it. So in the process steps, I chose three processes that I will talk with you about today. The product discovery process, and the prototype first, the product marketing fit. About product discovery process we work on at Bisnode is that minimizing risks, basically. It's about, is it business viable? Is it technical feasible? Is it customer desirable? Will customers buy it or choose to use it? Value risk. Can the user figure out how to use it? Usability risk. Can we build it? Feasibility risk. And we really need to sit in the middle here in order to make sure that our opinions are not enough or our experience on these things. We need to understand what these kind of circles are about and evaluate them continuously. The way we do it is a lean-ish process in the product discovery process. We create a process, we ideate design, we test it with with real target customers, and we learn. We do that at least 3 times before we go on to the next step in the development of the product. And what we want to do is actually integrate that customer need into our development process. And we do it with prototype first, where we start our use cases evaluating the value proposition with real customers. We prototype that API with a specification. We give it to customers, get feedbacks, and improve that prototype continuously. So in order to integrate that into our development processes, we align that with our implementation cycle. So before start coding anything, we have only specifications that are valid and actually solving the customer's jobs to be done. Heard many times about contract first. This is what we actually do it, how we do it in order to put it in our development processes. This is also in line in every product team across Bisnode. A small deep dive in this process is about, if you see the API development stages here, we validate the business opportunity first. Our salespeople, together with product people, ask the customers. They talk in terms of value propositions, evaluating that value proposition we get. So it's a value proposition interface we talk about here. Instead of talking about APIs, application programming interfaces, we try to understand what customers actually want to do with our data. And we have one great example is we did this for one big bank. We went with our specification, asking the business people what they want to do with our data. Get back to our processes, started to build that when we had that contract with the customer, and we could do the things parallelly, and everyone could switch to the production URL later. Yeah. In the second process, the proof of concept is once the specifications are already good enough, we want to see if it's actually solved more problems in different verticals for different companies. We try to find the product market fit in that stage before actually start doing the whole implementation and putting the gateway and the security and then authentication, authorization, and all that kind of things. Before we're going with the big development part, we make sure that that product actually fit in the market, and we have an industry gap that we fill. About technology, I'm almost running out of the time, but it's about components that will make you controlling your API access, without making it difficult for your development people to progress. And it's all about finding the momentum in your design and implementation time. So choose scalable approaches, architecture approaches, making sure that you spread that across your organization, and also understand how you best leverage these assets. And choose and pick your API management platforms, technology across around your API wisely. There is building yourself or versus buy it from third party. We chose the third party strategy here, an API gateway solving stuff within security and authentication. Under these components that could be used from products and the sales people to understand the traffic, what is used by whom and how much and so on, in order to understand how we develop products further. API management platform about the life cycle management and then the versioning, etc. And the develop portal that will the shopping window for your customers in order to make it easy for customers to understand, try and use your APIs. Last but not least, when investigating the third-party API management, do it wisely. It could be really costly and take too much time. Build your requirement based on the technical stuff, but do not forget the business requirements. What are your business objectives? For us, it was one of the main objectives was make it extremely easy for our customers to try, understand, and use our APIs. Integrate that into your investigation process. Summarizing things up, what I talked about is these four key elements. The people, process, and technologies. And these three components are encapsulated with usability and usefulness. And I know that many people want to know more. Make sure that you email me in this. My name is Mohamed Beyan. This is my email, so we can reach out to each other and understand how share our knowledges and so, etc. Thanks.